Most may consider Hawthorn's 2025 draft selections to be a bit questionable, but it's all part of Sam Mitchell's master plan to land an A-grade midfielder in 2026. As we all know, the Hawks are looking to add another A-grade midfielder to their already premiership contender. We saw them push hard for Zach Merritt in the 2025 off-season but failed to do so due to Essendon being Essendon, and the footy world consider Hawthorn to have failed the 2025 off-season after failing to recruit a single player. But the Hawks made up for it big time in the 2025 draft. At first, the Hawks draft selections were questionable. Everyone expected Hawthorn to take a midfielder and or a backman who can also play in the midfield, but instead they chose to select a medium forward, a key forward/ruckman, and two wingmen, that being Cameron Narn, Aidan Schubert, Jack Dalton, and Matthew Leray. They were still fortunate enough to land a big-body midfielder in Ollie Greaves with pick 12 in the rookie draft, who was expected to go in the top 20 of the national draft. At first, Hawks fans were confused. Fans thought that Hawthorn needed a midfielder or a backman, considering they lost multiple defenders from a strong depth lineup in the 2025 off-season, until you look a bit deeper. Then the Hawks traded back multiple times in the draft and received two 2026 second-round picks. Then it all clicked. Hawthorn's intentions in the 2025 draft? To build a trade package of high enough quality to land an A-grade midfielder in the 2026 off-season. The Hawks went into the 2025 draft with no intention of picking the best player available, and the only intention being to stock up on as many assets as possible to push for their A-grade midfielder in the 2026 off-season. And their number one target? Zak Butters. The Hawks are now going into 2026 with an extra two second-round picks, one linked to West Coast and the other linked to the Giants. I expect the Hawks to offer one of the biggest packages of all time for the 25-year-old Butters. The assets the Hawks have to play around with: 3 first-round picks from 2026 to 2028, 5 second-round picks, including 3 in 2026, and potentially Cameron Narn, Aidan Schubert, and Matthew Leray. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's absolutely no way Port Adelaide are going to trade a prime Zak Butters for 3 rookies. But the catch is, these 3 rookies are all from South Australia. Asking teenagers to move clubs and move states after one season is always tough, but when we consider the fact that they will be moving back home and with 2 of their mates, this could potentially be a perfect scenario for both parties. So the Zack Butters trade talks have already started. A few teams have already been rumoured to be showing very strong interest, including the Hawks, Pies, and the Dogs. But out of all these teams, the Hawks easily have the most realistic assets to work with in a package for Butters. When it comes to leaving in free agency, Butters is a restricted free agent, so if the Power want to match the contract, they can, and they will have to force a trade. Now, looking at potential trade scenarios, I feel like these assets are definitely going to be in this trade 100%. 3 first-round picks from 2026 through to 2028. And just looking at the 2025 off-season with Petrarca needing 2 first-round picks to get the deal done and Curnow needing 3 plus more to get the deal done, I feel like Butters is a safe 3 first-round picks at a minimum. Also, let's not forget Tassie come to the draft in the 2027 draft, and luckily for Hawthorn, we have 3 second-round selections in 2026, and I'm assuming all 3 will be included in this deal. And when it comes to players, Port obviously are going to want the best available player coming back their way, and I feel like young players with a lot of potential are going to be included in this deal, including Cameron Narn and Aidan Schubert. Yes, I know Narn and Schubert are only going to be in year 2 if this trade does go down, but Narn is a versatile wing/forward who can kick goals, play up the ground at high half forward role, which is really important in modern day footy. Also, Aidan Schubert, he's a versatile forward who can play in the ruck, and he's very mobile, very athletic for his size. So when it comes to these new ruck rules and the fact that there's going to be less boundary throw-ins, you're going to want an athletic ruckman that can move and also be essentially an extra midfielder at times. So I feel like Schubert could definitely fit that role in the future. So I feel like there's a pretty safe players when it comes to developing into decent players in the future. And yes, you could be saying these players are too young, not experienced enough in the league, and they haven't proven anything. And I'm not disagreeing with you, but let's not forget, like I said earlier, they are from Adelaide, and they were both first-round selections, and they were both predicted to go a lot higher than they did. Narn was predicted to go in the top 10 the day before the draft, and Schubert was around the 10 mark also for most of the draft period. And I feel like both Narn and Schubert, at worst, in their prime, at worst, are going to be average AFL players, which is still 2 great assets to have on a team that's either going to rebuild after Butters leaves or retool. I think they're going to retool more likely. They're probably going to go for players, especially younger players, to add next to Rosie, Jason Horne-Francis, and Georgiades. And this is the core of my trade package. 3 first-round picks, 2026 through to 28. 3 second-round picks in 2026 and potentially another one in 2027 and 2028. And then Cameron Narn, Aidan Schubert, and potentially also Matthew Leray, who is from South Australia. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if the Hawks offered up someone like a Mitch Lewis or a Henry Huswaite or just another player, maybe even a few more third-round picks, just to sweeten the deal for Port Adelaide, and maybe Port even send back a less valuable third round pick or so. We'll see how it goes. We honestly don't know what's going to happen. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment down below your thoughts and opinions on this Zack Butters situation. It's going to be very heated throughout the entire 2026 season. Let me know your trade scenario, your trade packages, and what could potentially happen also. Very curious to hear all your thoughts and opinions.